السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين، عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف وجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. We said that if we look after our spiritual health, if we look after our heart and provide it with what the heart needs, it develops, grows like a flower, like a tree, grows, and then you can enjoy of this flower, or you can enjoy the fruits of this tree. This, in the Quranic terminology, is called hayat tayyibah, a pleasant life, a life which is not with pressure, with stress. In this material life, if you look carefully, you find there is no complete pleasure. Always pleasure is surrounded by pain. For example, if you want to enjoy food, you cannot just enjoy the food. You have to work hard to earn money, you have to cook, you have to set the table, you have to wash then the dishes, then you need to go to the washroom, you may get stomach pain, lots of problems so that you can enjoy the food. Anything is like that. Any pleasure in this dunya, if you look at it, it's surrounded by lots of pains. It is only the pleasure that you get from the spiritual life that has no pain. Absolute pleasure. This is hayat tayyib, hayat, a life that you enjoy. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, that brings you tranquility. الذين آمنوا وتطمئن قلوبهم بذكر الله. Those who have faith and their heart comes at rest with the remembrance of Allah. When you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are like a pool of water which is connected to the ocean. Nothing can disturb you. But if you are just on yourself, a little blazing can bring lots of stress, lots of waves. You may even go out of your way. But when you are connected with the ocean, then you get sukoon, you get tranquility. This is hayat tayyibah. If you remember, we said that there are several elements in life. One is knowledge, understanding. One is power, ability to move, to do things. And one was willpower. These three things all grow to what you cannot imagine if you gain this spiritual life. When you have this life, not only you understand the normal things, but also you understand many, many secrets of the world. As I recited for you last night from Hadith Mi'raj, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I open the eye of the heart of such person to my glory, so he can see my glory, and I do not hide from him the knowledge about the select of my creation. So he knows everything. After one line, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again says, وَأُعَرِّفُهُ السِّرَّ الَّذِي سَتَرْتُهُ عَنْ خَلْقِهِ. I make him know the secret that I have kept hidden from my people. There are secrets that only such people will be aware. Most of people don't know. So your knowledge will get connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge. You would understand many, many things. Even when you read the Quran, Quran is a book that everyone can understand to some extent. If you know Arabic or if you have translation, you can understand, you can benefit. But what we understand at this stage is very, very little. There are many, many things in the Quran. There is hadith that Quran has outward aspect and inward aspect. And for the inward aspect, for batin, there is deeper layer. لَبَاطِنِهِ بَطْنًا. Then it goes up to 70 layers. We only see the surface. It's an ocean. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the knowledge of the Quran available for only some people. إِنَّهُ لَقُرْآنٌ كَرِيمٌ فِي كِتَابٍ مَكْنُونٍ لَا يَمَسُّهُ إِلَّا الْمُطَهَّرُونَ. The Quran is Kareem, is a noble book, which is in a hidden book. You may remember we talked about the book being one book and different manifestation, and the Quran is the last and the most complete manifestation of that book. No one can touch it, even touch it, except the purified people. So it means that people who are not purified, they even have no chance to touch. So the knowledge that we have about the Quran is less than even touching, let alone understanding. It needs the purity of the heart. I sometimes say that the Quran is like a beautiful lady. This lady doesn't show her beauty except to the people who are mahram. They don't look at her with bad intention. They have pure heart. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. If you have that purity of heart, then you start getting messages, signals from the Quran. To give you an idea, just our normal life. I say, for example, to you, what time is it? The surface of this sentence is that I am asking about time. But maybe there is an arrangement between me and someone in this hall, that whenever I say, what time is it? You go and, for example, check my car in the car park. I cannot say this to everyone. But when I say, what time is it? You go and check this. At the same time, maybe I have made arrangement with someone else. That when I say, what time is it? Make a phone call and say this to someone. I can have many messages integrated into this single message, and people only understand part of it. And I may not have said all of it to even one person. I have separated the messages. It's quite possible. The people think that they have understood everything. What time is it? It's a very clear sentence. I have understood it. But they don't know that there are how many messages behind this one sentence. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has explained everything in the Quran. تَبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ. Everything that humanity needs for his perfection is in the Quran. But sometimes me and you read the Quran, the whole Quran, and we find nothing relevant to our life. We think that Quran is a book that we should respect, but I don't find anything. This is our problem. This is not the problem of Quran. You have not been able to go a little bit further. And there are people who read every verse of Quran and find something for just what today they have to do. Not only for the whole life. The Quran gives you message, but you have to be able to get it. This is very important. So the knowledge would increase. We have something in Farsi, we say, an old man can see in a brick what a young man may not be able to see in mirror. Although the young man has maybe sharper eyes and this old man maybe has glasses, but he can see in a brick something. A brick is not transparent, does not reflect well, but because of wisdom he can see something that the young man cannot see in the mirror. So the knowledge would increase. There is a famous hadith which is possible to find it in many books. Maybe most of the books about Islamic morality and spirituality have this book, this hadith. This is known as Hadith Qurb Nawafil. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, La yazal. Before this is about wajibat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, nothing has ever been done by my servants that make them close to me like performance of wajibat. So the first thing is to make sure you perform your wajibat. You cannot bypass wajibat. Wajibat must be performed. But then Allah says, La yazal abdi yataqarrabu ilayya bin nawafil. This is Hadith Qudsi. After performance of wajibat, my servant keeps coming closer and closer to me by performance of nawafil, mustahabbat. Hatta uhibbah. They come so much close that I love him. This is a special love. Allah has love for every creature, but this is different. It's not that every creature is Habib or Mahbub of Allah. It's not beloved of Allah. This person comes closer and closer, so much that I love him. فَإِذَا أَحْبَبْتُهُ. When I love him, كُنْتُ سَمْعَهُ الَّذِي يَسْمَعُ بِهِ. Allah says, I become his ear. If Allah is your ear, then it's impossible that you hear something and you don't understand it. Even the person who says he may not understand what he has said, you understand it better than him. It's quite possible. Allah, the apostle of Allah, Rasul Khuda, used to say to the people, نَظَّرَ اللَّهُ عَبْدًا سَمِعَ مَقَالَتِي فَبَعَاهَا. May Allah make the servant of Allah who listens to my hadith and keeps my hadith, Allah make him happy, prosperous. And then فَبَلَّغَهَا مَنْ لَمْ يَسْمَعْهَا, and make sure that this hadith is passed on to someone who has not heard it. But again, in the hadith says that there are many cases that you pass on hadith to someone who understands better than you. This person has heard, passed it on to that person, but still that person understands better. So sometimes people say something, you understand what they said better than they themselves. كنت سمعه الذي يسمع به وبصره الذي يبصر به. I become his eye. Allah says, I become his eye. وَيَدَهُ الَّتِي يَبْتِشُ بِهَا. I become his hand by which he holds things. You think Ibrahim destroyed all those idols without help of Allah? It was the hand of Ibrahim? This was not the hand of Ibrahim. This was the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah found the hand of Ibrahim qualified to become the agent of Allah. So through hand of Ibrahim, Allah did his own thing. If you can make sure that whatever you say, whatever you do, there is no selfishness in that, then Allah make you your agent. Through you, Allah does his own things. Then people think that this is miracle. But this is not you. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are people who have done in their life wonderful things. And you wonder how this person, one person has changed, millions of people. How? Because this person kept himself away. He just left the soul for Allah. So Allah took over his soul. It's like, you have a car and you are driving very slowly. Then there is a better driver says, please go away. I will drive your car. A mu'min is the one who says, oh Allah, please come and drive my soul. أُفَوِّضُ أَمْرِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. But many people say, no, I can drive, I enjoy driving. No, let Allah drive your car. Let your soul be vehicle for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then you see what Allah then do. And then you will get the reward. He does all things, you get the reward. So I become his ear, his eye, his hand. And again, look at the grace of Allah, the favor of Allah. In dunya, if you are very, very close to a king, for example, to a very high personality, the maximum that he would say is that this person is my eye. This person is my right hand. This is the maximum. If he really, really trusts someone, and that person is very close, he is my eye. He is my hand. Never a king says, I am the eye of this person. I am the hand of this person. But look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, I become his eye. I become his hand. And then Allah says, إِن سَأَلَنِي أَعْطَيْتُهُ. If he asks me, I will grant him. إِن دَعَانِي أَجَبْتُهُ. If he calls me, I will answer. So this is the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala develops your knowledge and your power. Hand of Allah and knowledge. There is another hadith Qudsi which says, Abdi ata'ni aj'alka mathali. I have quoted both these hadiths in self-knowledge. My servant, obey me. I make you like me. أجعلك مثلي. When I want something, I say, be, and there it is. I make you able to say, be, and then there it is. This is what Allah did with Jesus. Jesus was creating the statue of a bird and blowing into it, and because of this, then it was a real bird. Allah says, I can make you like this, but you have to obey me. What does it mean you have to obey me? It means you have to follow my instructions. Allah is not going to get anything. Allah wants you to obey Him so that you can learn how to become a good person. When you go for training, the instructor says, you have to listen to me. Why? Because he wants you to become like him. Says, obey me, then I will teach you everything. If you don't obey me, you do not learn anything. So, I make you able to say, be, and what you want is there. أنا حي لا أموت أجعلك حيا لا تموت. I am the living that his life never ends. I make you the same. أنا غني لا أفتقر أجعلك غنيا لا تفتقر. I am the rich which never becomes poor. I make you rich, you never become poor. So this is the power that you achieve when you have this life. So we have knowledge, we have power, and you have the will. Because in dunya, unfortunately, our willpower is weak. Do you know what does make our willpower weak? Why some people don't have a strong willpower? There are several factors. One is they don't know what to want. When you are not sure, your power is wasted. You know, if you have the strongest soldiers, but he is not sure whether he is doing something right or not, this doubt kills the power of will. The people who have certainty, who have yaqeen that what they are doing is right, then they have determination. If you have little doubt, and this is one of the things that shaitan does. When you are sure you have decided to do something good, shaitan comes and tries to put doubt in your heart. Are you sure? Maybe you are mistaken. Maybe there are other things better than this. Maybe you wait. After a few days you find some good other project or some good other causes. So it doesn't let you to do what you want to do. And you lose your power. The other thing is that sometimes, in addition to this doubt, unfortunately our emotions interfere. You know by your reason that something is right, and you are sure, you have no doubt about it. But your emotions are somewhere there, in another place. And these emotions are very, sometimes very much making trouble. حُبُّ الشَّيْءِ يُعْمِي وَيُصِمُّ. When you love something, sometimes that makes you blind. Because then you don't understand. Hatred is the same. If you have hatred towards someone, then although you know that this is not right, but because of hatred you do it. Or you know this is right, But because of hatred, you don't do it because you think the other person will become happy or will benefit from this. So, we can have willpower if we are certain, if we have control over our emotions, and if we can have focus and concentration so that we bring all the power into one thing. This is very important. The hadith says, رَحِمَ اللَّهُ امْرَأً جَعَلَ هَمَّهُ هَمًّا وَاحِدًا. Make your concern one thing. You cannot fight at the same time in many battles. You cannot invest in many projects. Bring all your mind and money, whatever you have, focus on one thing, inshallah you will develop. Our problem is that we divide our forces, we divide our attention on too many things. And in the end, we have little things, none of them completed. A mu'min is very focused. His understanding is broad. But in practice, he is very focused. And this is what we have to do. You must have clear vision of what is happening in the whole world, about the whole community. But in the end, find what is the best thing that you can do and be focused. And don't let any doubt to come. Don't let emotions interfere. Then you would see your willpower is so strong that you can even move the mountains. You know the story of Shireen and Farhad. These, figures, love that Farhad to get Shireen, to be able to get married to Shireen, was asked to move a mountain. And because of love, he did so. The mu'min has ability to move mountain. Mu'min can become himself like a mountain. Al-mu'minu kal-jabal al-rasikh. La tuharrikuhu al-abasif. Mu'min is like very strong mount. Nothing, even a strong wind cannot move. So, if you have this type of life, then you will have great willpower. I want to mention a story about Ayatollah Hassanzadeh Amuli, who is one of our living ulama. May Allah prolong his life and life of all other ulama. And every alim that we lose is really leaving a gap. إذا مات المؤمن الفقيه سلم في الإسلام سلمة لا يسدها شيء. When a faqih, a knowledgeable mu'min dies, a gap is left, nothing can fill that gap. He says that when he was young, every summer he used to go to his own hometown, Amul, northern Iran, in summer, because in summer Hawza is not functioning, and give several lessons to the Talabe who live in the city of Amul. One day, in the midday, after saying Salat and having lunch, he wanted to have some rest. This is a habit, especially among the ulama, to have some nap middle of the day, so that they can have active day, for a study till night. So, but the children were making noise. They didn't let me sleep. So I asked them, please keep quiet. They didn't listen. I asked them again, they didn't listen. Finally, I got angry with them. When I got angry with them, immediately I felt my heart is dark. It's like pressure here. It's dark. So he said, I then started talking to them to make them happy, but it was there. Darkness was there. I went outside, bought some sweet for them, brought it home. Darkness was there. When you break someone's heart, it's not easy. It's not just enough to say, please forgive me. That damage is there. It takes time. You have to make lots of efforts. If maybe it's not even restorable. So he said, I went from Amol to Tehran. He didn't have car, he had to take public, transport. Amol to Tehran. Then I traveled from Tehran to meet the brother of Allama Tabatabai. The brother of Allama Tabatabai was a very special man. He's not that much known because he hasn't left, so many books. And most of the time he was not in Qom, he was in Najaf and Tabriz. But he was very special man, and they studied together in Najaf. And he was able to communicate with the souls of the dead people. So he says, I went to see my Ustad, the brother, because he was a student of Allama Tabatabai and brother both, benefiting from both, to see what can I do. I wanted a solution. Before I say what happened, it's important to see how much a person who is trying to become a good person, how much he's checking himself. Many of us, if happens something like this, we don't feel anything. And even if we don't feel, for example, good, it's not that we make so much efforts to travel, and go and meet someone to find what can I do. So it says, when I reached there and I knocked the door, the brother of Allama came to the gate. After salam, without saying anything, he said, I just had a conversation with Ayatollah Qazi Tabatabai, who was the teacher of Allama, and Ayatollah Bahjat, and the brother of Allama in Najaf. And he had passed away many years back. He said, I had a conversation with him. And he said, Aghay Hasanzadeh, who cannot control himself and gets angry with his children, how can he have ambition for high levels of perfection? So what type of knowledge is this? He has not even mentioned the problem. He gave him the answer, and also said that this is what Ayatollah Qazi Tabatabai told me, and he has passed away many years ago. This is a new world to discover. A very great world to discover. And unfortunately, it's hidden from us. Not because Allah has kept it hidden, because we have not made efforts to go and discover it. So, there are special types of knowledge available. There are lots of power available to do things as you want, and also your will grow. I stop here. I wish I had more time to mention some of the things from Hadith al-Mi'raj which are very important. Unfortunately, my time is over. So I just end with some few practical points that we have already touched upon, but to summarize so that it remains, inshallah, in our mind. The very first point is to try to have proper belief, proper aqidah. Because a human being without proper aqidah is not going anywhere. The very first thing is to have proper aqidah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ يَهْدِيهِمْ رَبُّهُمْ بِإِيمَانِهِمْ. Allah, because of your iman, guides you. If you don't have iman, Allah doesn't guide you. So we have to make some efforts. We don't need everyone to become a theologian or a philosopher, but at least everyone must have some time for reading good books, books written by reliable people. Some people say every book worth reading at least once. Some people in every book, but I say no. Can you say every food worth eating once? Some of the food, if you eat them once, they kill you. Maybe poisonous. You cannot say the food of soul is more important than the food of body. So, you cannot say every book, at least read it once. Every person, at least listen to him once. Why? We don't have enough time. Why we should waste our time? Try to be selective. If you know, okay. If you don't know, ask people. Say, please give me few names, few books. I don't have enough time. I want to be very focused. And then if you find good book, read it again and again and again till you absorb it. So, first, we must grow in our understanding. We want people who are understanding, people who are thoughtful. Second, amal salih. Man amila salihan min dhakarin aw untha. First, we should perform our wajibat. After that, do mustahabbat as much as you can. But the third, which is something that must paint all your life, like a color for all your life, is remembrance of Allah. This has no limit. Allah has made limit for everything except the remembrance. Has no limit. This is a color, a paint for all your life. Sabqat Allah. Sabqat Allah, what does it mean? Sabqa in Arabic means color, means paint. وَمَنْ أَحْسَنُ مِنَ اللَّهِ السَّبْغَةِ. Which color, which paint is better than Allah's? So why we don't paint our life with this divine paint? So as much as possible, we should try to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The fourth, to reduce our talk, speech. This is very powerful. Just try it few days if you can. Make your speech, make your words just minimum. You will have so much focus in your salat that you would enjoy. Just few days, Speak only things which are useful, things for which you can have good intention. You may speak to your friends, but with the intention of making them, for example, happy. Not with the intention of making yourself happy. With the good intention. You talk to your child because your child needs attention. So this becomes ibadah. But just speaking for the sake of speaking is bad. Then, to reduce our food. Even halal food, if it's eaten too much, it becomes a burden, like a weight you attach to your bird. The bird cannot fly. To reduce your food, I don't say eat very little. No, as much as your body needs. You have to look after your health, but reduce the food. The other thing is, plan your sleep. Sometimes some people sleep a lot, or sleep in the time that they should be awake. Some people sleep little, but unfortunately they sleep in the wrong time. For example, they keep awake till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Then just when the time of tahajjud and salat al-fajr comes, they are deep asleep. This adjustment of sleep is very important. The other thing is, every day try to have some private time for yourself. Even your child must not be there, your husband, your wife, just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one knows what you are saying. No one knows what you are doing. Just you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very important. You can find this in the early morning, in the night, midnight, during the day, Ladies may have some time, at home, no one is there to distract them. Anyway, you find a good time and keep it regular. Sometime to be alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you are alone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will project from His light to you. As we have in hadith, Ma balul mutahajjidin min ahsan an-nas wajha. The person asks Imam, why the people who do tahajjud, they look very beautiful, attractive? Imam said, لأنهم خلوا بربهم فكساهم الله من نوره. Because these are the people who spend some time only with Allah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives His life and covers them with His light. So have some time only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the other thing which is very important is try to be a caring, a loving person. A person who offers love and passion to everyone. Not only every human being. Even a moment when he is somewhere, he must be good even for animals, for plants. Everything must feel that you are a servant of Allah. A servant of Allah must be like Allah. Everything is receiving his rizq from Allah. So at least a little care from you must go to everywhere. Everything. And especially when it comes to the community of the faithful. You must remember what we said about that spirit of unity and brotherhood and sisterhood that must be there. أتقرب إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالات وليكم. Remember in the discussion about Velaya. I seek closeness to Allah by your Velaya and Velaya of your followers. This is very important. If you want to show your love to Lady Fatima, how can you show that? Show your love to her Shia. If you want to show your love to Imam Hussein, show your love to his Shia. It's very important. So these are some easy steps that everyone can understand. And no matter where do you live, even in cold winter of Canada, you can do it. It doesn't need any special weather, temperature. It doesn't need any instructor. You do these things, and when the time comes that you need a specific guidance, Allah will provide you with a specific guidance. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us and inshallah enlighten our heart and mind. This is very important night, and unfortunately this is the last night that we come together here. Inshallah, we have already been given many things by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but if not so, we ask Allah, with these few minutes left, inshallah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't let us to go out empty-handed. Inshallah, Allah fill us, our hands, inshallah, and our pockets, everything with packages of rahmah, inshallah. Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. The narrator says that after Imam Hussein alayhi salam was killed, the army of Ibn Ziyad started attacking the tents of Ahlul Bayt. وتسابق القوم على نهب بيوت آل الرسول. They were competing each other who would be the first to attack the tents of Ahlul Bayt and to loot. One of the ladies from the army of Ziyad, from Bani Bakr ibn Wa'il, she was very sad. She told her own people, Ya Ala Bakr ibn Wa'il, Atuslabu banatu Rasulullah. You men are standing here watching that the daughters of the Prophet are being looted. La hukma illa lillah. Ya la rasarat Rasulullah. So she wanted to go and stop them, but her own people took him back. When the enemies attacked the tents, the ladies, the children left the tent without shoes, without proper dress. They were going everywhere. But more than any other place, they wanted to go to see the bodies of the martyrs. The narrator says when the ladies looked at the martyrs, فَلَمَّا نَظَرْنَا النِّسْوَةُ إِلَى الْقَتْلَى, they started lamenting, crying. But he says, I never can forget Zainab, the daughter of Ali. فوالله لا أنسى زينب بنت علي تندب الحسين. How painfully she was lamenting and crying for Hussein. وتنادي بصوت حزين وقلب كئيب, with very sad voice and heart full of pain, she was talking to the Prophet. Ya Muhammad, Salla alayka malaikatus sama. O Muhammad, may the angels of heaven send their salutations to you. هذا حسينك مرمل بالدماء. Look at Hussein, this is your Hussein, covered by blood. مغدع الأعضاء, his organs are separated. مسلوب الإمامة والرضا, his turban and his dress are taken away. وَبَنَاتُكَ السَّبَايَا, your daughters are taken as a captive. إِلَى اللَّهِ الْمُشْتَكَى, I make my complaint to Allah. وَإِلَى مُحَمَّدٍ الْمُصْطَفَى, and to the Prophet. وإلى علي المرتضى وإلى فاطمة الزهراء وإلى حمزة سيد الشهداء. يا محمد هذا حسين بالعراق تسبي عليه الصبا. This is your Hussein who is left unburied in this place. He has not been covered, he has no kafan. قتيل أولاد البغايا, the children of fornication have killed your Hussein. وحزنا وكربا اليوم مات جدي رسول الله. The lady said, it is today that I have lost my grandfather, the Prophet. Ya Ashab Muhammad, all the companions of Muhammad. هؤلاء ذرية المصطفى يساقون سوق السبايا. O companions of Muhammad, O Salman, Abu Dhar, Miqdad, all you should come and see. The progeny of Prophet are taken as captive. And she continued to the extent that the narrator says, أبكت كل عدو وصديق. All the enemies and friends cried because of Zainab. ثم السكينة اعتنقت جسد أبيها الحسين. Then the lady Sukaina embraced the body of her father Hussein. فاجتمع عدة من الأعراب حتى جروها. Then some of the people went and grabbed her and took her away from her father. And then the narrator said, Omar ibn Sa'd asked his people to volunteer to ride their horses on Hussein and other martyrs. This night is very painful night for Ahlul Bayt. شب است و دشت هیاهوی مبهمی دارد. ستاره سوخته‌ای صحبت از غمی دارد. This is a night which is very strange night. And there is a burnt star which is talking about its pain. شب است و در دل شط فرات زمزمه است. به پای نخل که گیسوی درهمی دارد. There is a call coming from the Euphrates. The palm trees are all mourning for Hussein and they are making the branches disarray. شب است و ماه به هر خیمه‌ای که سر بزند. نشست مادری و بزم ماتمی داره. It is night and when moon is going to visit every tent, the moon is seeing that there is a mother lamenting for her child. شب است و سنگ صبوری به ناله میگوید. خوش است حال یتیمی که همدمی دارد. It is the night and there is a call which says it's very good for an orphan who can have someone to condole her, but the orphans of Hussein have no one to condole them, to comfort them. شب است و دختر معصوم سید الشهدا برای نوحه گری فرصت کمی دارد. The little daughter of Hussein has little time to mourn for her father. شب است و سایه اهریمنی شتاب آلود رود به سوی سلیمان که خاتمی دارد. In the darkness of night, a wicked man is going towards Suleiman, who is Hussein, to remove the ring of Hussein from his finger. And you know that what he did when he couldn't bring out the ring? شب از دو داغ جگر سوز سینه مظلوم ز اشک فاطمه امید مرهمی دارد. All these people who are lamenting and in pain, they hope that the Lady Fatima would pay attention to them. شب از دو این همه غم در عوالم ملکوت خدا گواه است که زهرا چه عالمی دارد. But it is Allah who knows that the Lady Zahra is in what condition. شب از دو ماتم اصغر گرفته است رباب. شب از دو ماتم اصغر گرفته است رباب ز گاواره او چشم بر نمی دارد. The Lady Robab is mourning for Ali Asghar and is always looking at the empty cradle of Ali Asghar. شب از دو بر سر سجاده خلوص و وفا بلند قامت اسمت قد خمی دارد. It is Imam Sajjad praying on his prayer mat but with a bending body. شب از دو دشت به خون خفته خیمه سوخته است کجا بنالد زینب اگر غمی دارد. The plain of Karbala is full of blood, the tents are burned, so where can Zainab lament for Hussein? شب است دو زینب دور از حسین میماند. شب است دو زینب دور از حسین میماند. نفس کشیدن بی او چه ماتمی دارد. This is the first night that Zainab in her life has to spend this night without Hussein. What is the benefit of this life for Zainab? Allah la'natullah ala al-qawm al-zalimin. وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. نسألك اللهم وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم وبالقرآن المستحكم وبفاطمة وأبيها وبعلها وبنيها يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا أرحم الراحمين يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك واكفنا يا قاضي الحاجات ويا كافي المهمات إنك على كل شيء قدير. Oh Allah, please send your salutations to Muhammad and all Muhammad. Oh Allah, please let us be with them in dunya and akhirah. Oh Allah, please forgive us and let us to follow the path of Muhammad and all Muhammad forever. Oh Allah, please make us amongst the best servants of your religion. Oh Allah, please make our Imam Zaman happy and pleased with us. Oh Allah, honor us by being able to serve him before and after he comes. Oh Allah, please make our children amongst the best servants of you. Oh Allah, please protect us and our communities from everything which is bad and disliked. Oh Allah, please heal all ill brothers and sisters that we have in our mind. Oh Allah, please send your Rahman mercy to all the marhumin of these brothers and sisters. O Allah, please send your rahmah to all people who have rights upon us. O Allah, please make the last moment of our life the best moment of our life. رحم الله من يقرأ الفاتحة مع الصلوات. I feel very much obliged to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to giving me this tawfiq to be with you in this Muharram. And I felt very much at home and I very much enjoyed. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps this humble servant of Him, inshallah, to serve you and all our community, inshallah, more in future. Thank you very much for your attention, for your comments, for your encouragement. And inshallah, please remember me your du'as. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increases your knowledge, your tawfiq, and helps you in your life, protects your families, and inshallah, the whole community. Very much, I feel obliged, and inshallah, I try to pray for you, inshallah, in the shrine of Lady Ma'sooma, inshallah. The first time I get tawfiq, inshallah, to go there, inshallah, I pray for all of you. Thank you very much.